Welcome to Baker McKenzie's Mobility Minute. My name is Matt Gorman. I'm an associate attorney in our Global Immigration and Mobility Practice Group. I'm sitting with my colleague, Cynthia Sharma, and today we are going to talk about international travel under the Biden administration. So I will represent the was, and Cynthia will represent the is. Under the Trump administration, there were three categories to look at when we're talking about international travel, and more specifically, reentry to the United States from international travel. Number one, there was no COVID-19 testing requirement. Number two, the Trump administration had enacted travel restrictions for most visa holders present in any of the following countries during the 2 weeks prior to seeking to enter the United States: Brazil, China, Iran, Ireland, the Schengen region, and the United Kingdom. The Trump administration, on its way out, sought to lift or end these travel restrictions. Number three, there was no federal mandatory quarantine period under the Trump administration. Cynthia, what has changed, if at all?
Hi, Matt. Of course, there have been a few changes under the Biden administration. In regards to your first point regarding a COVID-19 test requirement, there is now proof of a negative COVID-19 test required within 72 hours of air departure. The implications of this is that this new requirement is another burden on international travelers, and we should expect to see an increase in positive tests, especially for asymptomatic travelers who carry the virus. Ultimately, this could impact and delay travel plans. Employers and employees should be prepared to be flexible when traveling abroad and coming back to the United States. In regards to the second point, regarding the travel restrictions for non-citizens and permanent residents present in the list of countries that you previously identified, these restrictions have been reinstated indefinitely. Additionally, South Africa has been added to the list due to the new COVID-19 strain that was identified in late 2020. The implications of the reinstatement of the travel restrictions is that they do not appear to be ending anytime soon under a Biden administration, and employers must continue to communicate the risks of becoming stranded abroad for their employees who are traveling abroad, even if they do hold valid visa stamps. That said, there is the possibility of circumventing the travel restrictions, including transiting through a third-party country for 14 days or applying for a waiver. I'm sure Matt will discuss these options with my other colleagues on future mobility minutes. And finally, regarding a federal mandatory quarantine period. As of now, there is still no federal mandatory quarantine period. The Biden administration has directed those returning to the United States to follow CDC guidelines, which currently recommend a 7-day quarantine period. However, the Biden administration is reviewing this policy and may implement a more formal mandatory quarantine period. The implications of this is that a more formal quarantine requirement could have a major impact on employers, particularly those who require immediate assistance. A federal quarantine requirement would increase the cost of travel and require longer trips by business travelers. We expect further guidance shortly, and we will communicate this to your attention.
Thanks, Cynthia, and thank you for listening to today's Mobility Minute. We are expecting lots of change over the coming weeks and months, and we will be issuing further Mobility Minutes as things unfold. Thanks.